Hello, 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 hello. Welcome. I think I'd just like to start off by saying this is sort of my first attempt at anything ASMR related or even YouTube content related. I'm here on one of my favorite games of all time. This is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. The rain just cleared up. I will no longer need this outfit. Let's do something classic. You know, we could go even more classic than that, I suppose. So anyway, I'm here on Tears of the Kingdom. The Switch 2 version, I should specify, with updated textures, updated frame rates, and it's quite an amazing game to look at. I'm here on the Great Plateau, which, if you've played Breath of the Wild, you recognize as the sort of tutorial area in the game. Let me switch this. Or you know what? Let's just take it off. And since we're not really going to be fighting anybody, I'll put away my bow. And I'll put away my shield, but we'll keep our trusty Master Sword with us. So, I think these games, specifically Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, are just really impressive in their magnitude and their scale and their ability to tell stories through their environments rather than through traditional means such as dialogue and exposition, although they have plenty of those things as well, of course, as any Zelda game is kind of known to do. But these games take a more subtle approach, I would say, in their handling of storytelling and atmosphere. And I'll sort of give you guys an idea of that. We can move a little faster now, I think. There's something very nostalgic about this region for me. I was about 18 years old when I played Breath of the Wild for the first time. It was a Christmas gift back in 2017. I was extremely excited, and I played it back on the Switch 1. I received the Switch 1 as a gift, along with a copy of Breath of the Wild. I believe it was the only game at the time that I really was interested in, and do we need this? I know that this is about to break, so sure. There's a person here we can talk to. Anyway, sorry. I remember playing it the first day on Christmas and just having an amazing time and coming to this area, walking through these gates, entering this wintry area, hearing this music for the first time, the music that's kind of associated with any snowy region in these games, or the Hebra region specifically. And coming here now, especially in Tears of the Kingdom, when things are quite different. And on the Switch 2 version with these updated graphics and the frame rates, it's quite special. And the game's quite different. I think if I wanted to get across this lake, for example, it would be a lot easier for me to do in this game, in Tears of the Kingdom, than it was in Breath of the Wild. In this game, I could just I could build a Zonai device and just sort of drive like a boat across. In Breath of the Wild, however, you would have to use Cryonis, I believe is what it is called. Now this is quite funny. So this is what the Yiga believe Link to be. Let's keep that for later. See, now I've gotten myself in here. Can I get myself out? Okay. So, the real reason that I'm in the Great Plateau, it's not for nostalgia reasons. I'm actually here to visit the Temple of Time. Let me get these mushrooms first. And now that it's nighttime, we can do this. Now I'm scared to talk to anybody. I heard that the Yiga clan had a branch in this area. If that's true, then it's important I give it a wide berth. Do you know the Yiga clan or this nefarious branch of theirs? I'm familiar. What luck to have run across such a kind and knowledgeable soul. Luckier still, I now have a souvenir to bring home. Just stay right there, and I should have known. Okay, the Temple of Time. It's interesting coming to the Temple of Time wearing the Shadow Link outfit. Both are things that sort of, I believe, only appear in Ocarina of Time. The Temple of Time may appear in other locations or in other games. I'm actually not sure. Someone could correct me on that. But Shadow Link, and again, someone could correct me on this, but I think his first and only appearance is in Ocarina of Time. And in this game, he's just sort of a reference Easter egg outfit that offers an interesting ability, which is you walk faster at night, or you move faster at night. But other than that, it's just a reference. Shadow Link doesn't appear in this game in any form. But he plays an interesting role in Ocarina of the Time, which is as sort of Link's opposite, or Link's foil. He represents sort of like a darker aspect of Link. It's kind of a part of the Hero's Journey template, I believe. It's taken from Joseph Campbell's monomyth, the idea of the shadow, or is it the id? But the part of yourself that you are not addressing, that you don't let show to the world. Anyway, I'm here now at the goddess Hylia statue at the Temple of Time because I was recently down here. You can see my last location. I was trying to talk to this bargainer statue. It's the final bargainer statue. If you've played Tears of the Kingdom, you'll know. This is sort of a optional side quest you can do. The game doesn't really even direct you to it, but you talk to these bargainer statues. And one will reveal the location of another until you've found all of them across the depths. Like, as you can see, I have. These are all of the bargainer statues. Sorry, these are. And there's more over here. But this one is the final one. However, when you try to speak to it, it gives you sort of a cryptic answer. It doesn't give you the normal interaction that you're supposed to get, like you do normally from the other bargain statues. It gives you this message. I know because as soon as I read it, I recognized it. It was what the goddess Hylia statue told me. I am trapped under the water behind the stone gate of the Great Plateau. Let's read that again. I am trapped under the water behind the stone gate of the Great Plateau. I am trapped under the water. So let's see if we can find the stone gate of the Great Plateau, because I'm not entirely sure where that is. I have a feeling, I have an inkling of where it might be relative to where I currently am. But yeah, this is my first playthrough of Tears of the Kingdom, actually. Despite what you can see, I have a lot of the map uncovered. I've even in the regions that I don't yet have the towers, I have at least been to those towers. It just appears so far as if I can't yet activate them for whatever reason, so I just sort of left them, but I've found quite a few shrines across the map. I've explored every region to some extent. I've gotten the towers in pretty much nearly all of their regions. I've discovered nearly all of the depths. As you can see, this took me quite a while. I've just got a few more up here in this little pocket region. A few more in this little region. And then a few more here as well. And, I got the game back in 2023 when it first came out. And it's, for a bunch of different reasons, I just didn't end up playing it very much. I probably put a couple of hours into it before sort of moving on to other things. Let's avoid that. Although I really enjoyed what I did play. I think coming from Breath of the Wild, though, it had been such a long time. Like I said, I was about 18 when it came out. I played a lot of it on the Switch 1. I beat the game. I put probably 100 hours into it. And then, I went off to college soon after that. I brought my Switch with me, but I didn't play it much. I was focused on, a lot of other things like school. There might have been other games I was playing that were newer and things like that. And then come 2023, Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I hadn't lost my interest. I was extremely excited, but I think if anything, I was a bit overwhelmed. It felt like the game had a lot going on and a lot to do, and I wasn't quite, I guess I didn't feel like learning it yet. But, then cut to now, the Switch 2 version came out. It has all these enhancements, the improved frame rates, the improved performance, enhanced graphics. And I played Breath of the Wild first. I was really excited to play through it again with all the enhancements. And I was blown away. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had, especially in recent memory, but really just ever. The game's already amazing, but with the enhanced visuals, it really brings things up a notch. And then now Tears of the Kingdom has blown me away with, I almost feel silly for not having put more time into it back when it first came out, because this game is incredible, but I'm glad to be playing it now. Okay. So about that stone gate. Let me get that. Nice. Aha. Okay. So looks like let's try this. How cool. Aha. You who hear my voice, come to me in the Temple of Time ruins, up the road on the plateau to the south. Up the road. Okay. But stuff like that is kind of a great example of why I love this game in Breath of the Wild. I think they just encourage this specific style of exploration that I just love. And a certain sort of creativity in figuring out fun environmental puzzles rather than the traditional dungeon puzzles of the older Zelda games, which I'm aware that a lot of fans, it seems, actually are, I think, wanting to see a return to. And I think I do as well. But I can also appreciate what these games do to achieve a unique experience that is different and new for the Zelda series. What do we expect from the next mainline Zelda game for the Switch 2? Surely they've got to be working on that. I've seen a lot of people sort of declare that Tears of the Kingdom and the most recent Hyrule Warriors game, Age of Imprisonment, are sort of marking the end of the Wilds era in the Zelda series. And I'm not so sure. I think that they might round this out with a trilogy of games. give us one more in the Wilds era, and then start anew, something new. But I don't know, we've never gotten anything like that from Zelda before. Even Tears of the Kingdom was sort of a unique first in the sense of technically not the first direct sequel that Zelda has ever done. The Phantom Hourglass is a direct sequel to The Wind Waker. The Majora's Mask is a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time. And now Tears, of course, is a sequel to Breath, but we've never gotten a trilogy of Zelda games before. Interconnected ones. That would be interesting. But of course they could do something totally new and fresh, and I do know that they're committed to the open air style. But maybe we could get a hybrid, the open air style with more traditional dungeons thrown in here and there. I think that would be really cool. Okay. You who hear my voice, as a result of you draining the water from the gate, part of me has been freed. You have earned my gratitude. I speak to you now from the depths below in the guise of this statue. Okay, I think I know where to go. Oh. So I have to drop his eyes into the chasms. This is so interesting. Aha, a call from the depths. So side quests and side adventures are different. Interesting. Okay, I want to do this quest, this adventure. I really like Link's hair in this game. I like that they sort of kept it long and wilder. There's a lot of influences in these games from Studio Ghibli as well, which I love. Playing through them sometimes can feel like just playing through a Studio Ghibli movie. Not just the visuals, but the story, of course. Sort of, I think the enjoyment that the game asks you to take in, the small things, the mundane things. And something I found out about really kind of recently that I find really fascinating is something that they used sort of in the philosophy of these games, of creating them, which is a Japanese concept called Hakoniwa, which basically translates to miniature garden. And once I found out about that, I just connected with that idea, and I felt like it really made sense as to why I find these games so enjoyable. It really is like a garden in your back pocket that you can just pull out whenever you want and walk around in it and uncover all sorts of secrets and hidden things that feel, even if they're sort of designed to be there, they feel personal and like you've discovered them. Alright guys, I cut ahead because getting through those stones was not super relaxing. But it looks like we found a cave. I wasn't trying to get super sidetracked. But I figured we'll check this one out. This ascend ability is one of my favorite abilities in probably any game ever as well. I think it's so cool. I've been playing a lot of other games recently, and they've made me. I keep thinking I can use ascend to go through a building or something, only to forget that it's only in this game. There's sort of an amazing quality to being able to revisit all the locations from Breath of the Wild and see how they've changed in Tears of the Kingdom. I think that's something unique to this game that probably only a few other games can really say anything similar. Oh look, there's a dragon. Farash. I don't have a photo of that yet. That's great. The dragons are really a sight to behold in these games. I pretty much always stop and look whenever they fly by, at least just for a little. They look a lot more amazing up close, but it's amazing how big they are. You really can appreciate them in the enhanced version of this game. I really think this lake area is so beautiful. Alright, we made it to the top. It looks like the eye is here in this glass. Alright, last one. Dropping it in. And I suppose I'll go after it. I love collecting the pose in this game. There's something very satisfying about it. So the statue said to bring each piece to him. So it looks like I'm going to have to load it up into a cart. Alright, let's do it. That's close. Alright, let's do it. Oh no. I guess we'll be okay, actually. Alright. Very cool. Okay. Let's go get the next one.